We have one more spot for a watch right there. Why don't I shoehorn in a Citizen BM8475 wearing a Nutnfancy hands modification? As usual, the hands are lining up when I'm filming. Happens almost every time. With a watch of interest. This has a deep blue brand Zulu strap in orange and black. What a very cool combination. High personality watch, value watch. And it deserves a place of honor on this table. I know what you guys are thinking. I really do, because we think alike. My audience and I, we really do. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Nutton, that is the coolest array of watches you've shown us yet. It's about time. Let me say, it is about time. Nice segue. It is about time. That's what this video is about. Watch philosophy. It's pretty much for newbies. Like if you're just starting out in watch collecting, watch wearing, you don't know if it's really right for you. Is it something you want to try? You've seen a couple Nutnfancy watch review videos. They're intriguing, but you don't really know what you like, what you want, how to spend your money, pricing levels. I'm here to help. It's a watch philosophy video, dude. And thank you, by the way, to David Gaines. That's right, David. Thank you so much for suggesting this topic. Watch Basics is the title of the video. And as soon as he told me it in message, I was like, wow, that is a great idea. I was there myself, you know, kind of confused about where to proceed, what was right for me. And by the way, that is really what this video is about, is what is right for you. Definitely, I'm going to share my preferences with you. We often do think very much alike, my audience and I. I've said that before. And maybe you like the same styles I do. I'm not going to cover every style. There's no way. I'm going to focus on my taste in watches. But it'll be about basics, about getting you started, focusing your purchasing, being smart in how you do it, and then being willing to make mistakes as you learn, again, what is right for you. So it is about watch philosophy, perhaps the only video of its kind in the world. I don't know of any other video that will even attempt to do what I'm going to do here, blending all these disparate brands together, pricing levels together. This is not something you will see in the watch world very often. Many of the watches, heck, that I have on the table, like that one, would be mocked by a watch snob, and they'd say, oh, I wouldn't even waste my time with that. But it's unconventional. I'm unconventional. So the name of this video, as you saw, is Watch Basics, 10 Unconventional Rules to Happiness. How's that for a title? Yeah, I'm going to break ranks with all the watch snobs and the horologists. Oh, wait, there I go again. Horologists online and in print media. I ain't one of them. I just ain't. I don't see things the way they do. I don't have their same aesthetic likes. Generally, the crap they review, I hate. And I just quit watching them. I did. I used to watch some watch channels on YouTube early on, some years ago, and now I gave up. They just review and say the same things over and over again. And there's other reasons too, which I will get into a little bit, because it will help you. When I help you understand the watch world, it's a pretty unique world. It's an interesting world. It's an interesting community. I am definitely an outsider. And again, I'm going to say some things that will break ranks with them and maybe ruffle their feathers, but I delight in it because truth sometimes does that. And remember the title, 10 Unconventional Rules to Happiness in regards to watches. And that's all we're talking about. Making you happy. That's really all I want to do. And in order for me to discuss that, I have to look at myself and tell you what has made me happy. In watch wearing and watch collecting. What has made me happy? Has it been going out? Again, I'll circle back to this and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. No. This watch cost me $17. See what I mean? I've got a Bell & Ross on the table there. It's in the thousands. A loaner watch? Thousands. I don't know, $4,000, whatever it is. It's interesting, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But let me just rank order a couple watches for me about my happiness level. And this will make the point about the unconventionality of what I'm doing here. So I'll give low, medium, or high when I wear a watch. This one, $20 like G-Shock homage. High Happiness. That's right, High Happiness. Hands modded by myself. All I did is paint that second hand orange. Simple mod. This one, Sunto Core. Battery about dead. Low. To be totally honest, when I put this on, low happiness. TW Steel. Medium happiness. Casio solar powered. Value watch. Reviewed, by the way. I would say low to medium, and there's a reason for that. It's a great watch, but I'm going to hit a concept pretty hard here. Aviate 4045, hands modded. High. Definitely high. Love it. Notice the turbine face. Kind of an homage to a Harrier jet. Look at the case back. There's a signed timepiece by myself. High Happiness. Fashion watch. What is this? An Armani Exchange with a hands mod. You're going to be blown away. I'm going to tell you, High Happiness. I love wearing this watch. Huh. Told you it's unconventional. That's a crap watch. I love it. Makes me happy. What'd I spend on this? I don't have a price on it, but I think it was like $60. And then hands modded. I just love it. It's cool. Let me see. Let me grab a couple other timepieces to make a point. Oh, dude. How about this one? Swiss Legend Neptune, hands modded. High Happiness. And by the way, this is a freaking huge watch. I know, I'm so into SAWC, but I give a pass to certain watches. I bought this off eBay for like $45. $45. But I hands modded it. I love this thing, man. It's about happiness. What will make you happy? What's going to make you happy? How about this one? So this is a Casio AQS 800. Great little watch. I'll be honest though, if I put this on, low happiness. It reminds me of a lady's watch, really. Kind of. Not that I have an aversion to that. I've reviewed some watches. Even this one, I say, hey, I like wearing it. It's a great, low profile motorcycle watch going under the motorcycle protective gear. It has a purpose, but I'm just telling you, does it make me happy? No, it doesn't. Deep Blue Master 1000 in tangerine luminescent orange with a hands mod. Taped, not painted this time, so I can restore them to OEM. Ceramic bezel, High Happiness. High Happiness. NH35A auto movement with a signed rotor. Oh, let's check that out, dudes. Look at this. I programmed the freak out of this one. Sapphire crystal, as you can see, and it's signed Nutnfancy. See the rotor in there? Oh, that's sick. Does that make me happy doing that? Absolutely, because it makes a timepiece more personalized for me. And it's like, it's a moment in time when I modded it, I can remember what was going on in my life, and then I take it out on adventures, and then I'm just really stoked. For instance, this Hamilton right here, it's a hand wind Swiss watch. This went out on the Arizona Wolverine X4 adventure. So every time I look at that watch, I remember how dirty and dusty we were. And by the way, it worked great. It is about happiness. I'm here to make you happier in your watch spending and your watch wearing. Let's get going. One thing I will tell you right now, dudes, and I'm dead serious about this, is don't expect to achieve your personal watch nirvana immediately. It's going to take time and it's going to take commitment, just like it did when you went down the knife collecting game, right? So you probably are a knife guy. You like knives. What do I have as my EDC? Well, of course, the TMP Dragonfly, right? I've got that. And then I have, I think, a Para, Spyderco Para. So this is, yeah, paired these up today. So it just takes time to figure out what you like. And then you find yourself gravitating towards those same formulas in knives, right? Look at me. Here I am with a pair of Spideys. Case in point. And then I have the Lynch pocket clip here, titanium. Dude, this combo makes me happy. It just takes me over the moon. It's just so fantastic. And you got to do that with watches. It's not just going to fall into place for you. And again, it's very personalized. Because some of these pieces on the table, they may look really cool, they may attract you, but until you actually strap them to your wrist, until you actually go out day to day and you wear them, you won't know they're right for you. By the way, that's just what I've had to do. I just wore several timepieces that look great, they look great online, I ended up spending money on them, and I wore them a couple times, and then I found myself not wearing them. Sometimes it was a quirk that I could correct with my programming skills, changing the hands, painting the hands, making them more stark for me. I'm a big believer in that. That's my own taste. I did it with this Torgoin T30, taped and white, and then they're fixed. I'm like, oh, that's so much better. I don't like partial hands, hands outlined in silver. I freaking hate it. It's my own quirk. But what works for you, you're going to have to spend some money. You're going to have to get some timepieces. No, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get going in this game, and just find out what you like. That's it. You're just going to have to go down that road. But when we start with the rules, which by the way is right now with number 1, understand that it's highly individualized. So again, what works for me may not work for you. It just depends. Although, like I say, we are very similar, you and I, in most respects. The first unconventional rule to make you happy in your watch wearing is you need to find out what makes you tick. Pun intended, kind of. What makes you tick? Are you really concerned what other people think about you? Think about that. Think about how you go about your life. Are you very self-conscious in what other people think of you? Now, why do I bring that up with watch wear? Because it's very intermingled with ego. It's very intermingled with marketing, perception of others, movies, pop culture, video games, famous people. All of this kind of comes into the watch world. And some guys are really affected by all that. And some guys, I think the self-actualized ones, which I want you to be, aren't really. They go to the timepieces they like, and they don't really care if other people like it. And only you can ask and answer that question for yourself. Are you like that? You know, are you mature enough to just buy the watch that you like? Or are you going to strap something on your wrist for the day, and hopefully as you go throughout your day, someone's going to compliment your choice? And by the way, I'm not saying that's bad. It's not. But buying a watch solely for fishing, that's what I call it, you're fishing for compliments. Are you really serving your own aesthetic? Or are you serving someone else's aesthetic? Probably someone else's. So you need to find out what you're about and what makes you tick. Again, a watch analogy. And by the way, the answer's probably right in front of you right now at your house in your own gear systems. Look at the knives you have. If you're a knife guy in TMP, the answer's right before you. What kind of knives do you have? How much do you spend on a knife? I mean, I have this here on the table. It's a fantastic knife. It's a Microtech SOCOM Auto. It's really expensive. Are you the kind that has to have a knife like this? This is a SOCOM Elite Auto. Oh, freak, what, $400? Which for a knife, if you're just a watch guy, is kind of pricey. But, I mean, top quality, great steel, highly collectible. It'll maintain its value. You could sell it for what you paid for it. Easy. Easy. Probably $100 more in 3 years. I'm not even making that up. But are you a guy that will buy a watch like this? A knife like this? Or can you be happy with a very, let me grab one right here, high value knife like an automatic Lightning? There's your answer right there. If you're just a knife guy already, there's your answer. If you say, oh, dude, I love the Lightning. You reviewed that and I bought it. I carry it all the time. I love it. Then the answer is you're probably going to be a value watch guy and you'll be completely happy there. Okay, so what makes you tick? You are a person who appreciates value and stuff that works, not necessarily something that will impress someone else. Right? So if you were taking this Lightning out to, I don't know, an automatic knife snob, yes, there are such things, such people, he'd probably laugh at you and go, oh my gosh, get a real knife. Get your Microtech. Same with watches. I mean, there's a lot of snobbery in the watch world. And if you're going to go out and sport a very high value watch like this one, $17, $25, depending on where you get it, they would just look at you like a dummy. But buy what is right for you and find out what you're about right now. Again, I just used a knife example. You could look at your car, you could look at your clothing. your shoes. Just how do you approach it? What's your taste? Do you like expensive things? It's got to be the absolute best. If that's the answer, and I'm not going to criticize you if that's the answer, I say rock on. But you're probably going to have fewer timepieces, not nearly what I have on the table, and you're going to spend like tens of thousands of dollars. These are value watches for the most part. And that's cool. But it's going to be much more expensive, because what you would gravitate towards are timepieces that are several $1,000s a piece. Know what you're about, embrace it, maybe try to change it. I would say don't be afraid to change it. Number 2, I mentioned this briefly, I want to circle back to it. I recommend, as an unconventional rule to watch happiness, is ignore conventional watch snobs, the groupthink. Just jailbreak from those guys. There's a ton of reviewers in YouTube and online that are kind of like this. Again, they'll look down their noses at anything that doesn't meet their standards. And generally their standards are going to be expensive watches. Like, to them, if you spend less than $500, and again, I'm broad stroking, really, I am generalizing, I realize that. But a lot will say if you spend less than $500, that's a great way to get started in the hobby. Maybe you get a Seiko, that's a wise purchase, a Citizen, wise purchase. But any of the other watches I've shown you that are super high value, like this TW Steel, they probably go, no, don't even waste your time. Again, I'm generalizing here. They're the ones that are going to go out and advocate you save up thousands of dollars for your dream watch. They will talk a lot about the S word, soul. Does a watch have soul? They advocate old watches, like ancient watches from the 50s, 40s, and 60s, even though they cost thousands of dollars, that is what you should aspire to if you're a real watch person. They will constantly advocate expensive timepieces. They sneer, again, at value watches. They question your taste, your intellect, your horological understanding. Oh, by the way, they promote brokers whom they probably have under-the-table deals with. If you see ads of any kind on their videos, then they're in bed with those brokers. They're getting paid by them. And so they're going to advocate certain timepieces where they get kickbacks from them. So I would be very wary of them. If you want to watch them, go ahead. Listen to them. I don't. I broke away because I'm a maverick, unconventional. You figure it out. Number 3, and this kind of ties into number 2, by the way. It really does. Swiss watches are not the zenith. Let me say that again. Swiss watches are not the zenith they're made out to be. Okay, so by the way, I love this watch. I love Bauhaus design, if I'm saying that right. Probably not, but I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to names. I love that aesthetic, but, and this is German, not Swiss, but as you thumb through the pages of a watch magazine, what you're going to see are some very, very, very expensive timepieces, like to a ridiculous level. Why are they so expensive? Oh, there's a G-Shock there. That's cool. They put that in. It's because they have to pay off their celebrities. They have to support their marketing network. There is so much overhead. There's some Rolex timepieces. Every single one of them on that page, by the way, is completely ugly. I don't care what the price is. I would not wear a single watch on that page. They're way too conventional. This kind of goes back why I say I don't watch those channels anymore, because they'll review a piece like this, and then they'll review a piece like this, and they act like they're so different, and that they're really the same piece. So you have the same exact personality and the same boring look, if you ask me. Yeah, I'm not saying Rolexes are garbage. They're great watches. I think they're overly hyped, overly expensive, and I don't like their aesthetic. I'd never wear one. I don't care how much money I had, I wouldn't wear one. So Swiss watches, my point is, they're not the zenith. Okay, and by that I mean they are held up as the standard by which everyone should aspire to. This is what I found out in my own watch foray, in my own watch journey, is that's just so much horse shit. I like that ad. That's cool. That's a smart G-Shock, so it connects to your phone. There's another one right there. It's just not true. What they're selling is a fake image. Okay, and if you want to tie into that, it makes you feel good, and you want to go out and spend, I don't know, 10 grand on a watch, go for it. I think that whole truth that the Swiss watch industry has created is cracking. Like hard. Cracking. Huh, interesting. Then they just place an ad here, that same watch, Hungans, however you say that, German watch, yeah. So here they are in the magazine. They had a watch, and now they're promoting it. So you kind of see the tie-in. So they bought bought a full page ad, and because they did that, now they get a tie-in right here, a little article to promote it even more. I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, that's how you do business. I mean, everyone's like that. But overall, Swiss watches, no thank you. I generally will draw the line at about $1,000. I reviewed this one, the Hamilton hand wind, and it's right around that price level. Personally, I would never go above it because I ask myself why. Why do I need to go above it? Do I get any more in quality? No. Sometimes you get worse. I mean, this one busted when I tried to wind it up, like really easily. I talked about it in the review. It busted and I had to send it back for service. It's an interesting journey into Swiss watches, and I explained that in that WRV, and I learned a lot from it. And it's a good reference piece in the collection to talk about this. Swiss watches, I think, are way overblown. They're way overpriced. They're way overhyped. To me, they are not the standard for which we should aspire to. If you're just starting into watches, you can start small and stay small. You can go out and buy this Casio GA100. And by the way, this has been modded by myself. This has a J&K's bezel cover in snow camo with a very cool leather NATO strap. I mean, and then I hands modded it, so it didn't look like this. I'll show you another one that did, kind of, if I think about it. But you can go out. Here's one. This is slightly modded. This is a GA 110 or 100. Hands modded with blue. I know, crazy. This is cool though. I mean, this is a cool watch. And you can just be so happy just having a collection of GA 110s, GA 100s. Why do you need more? And that's the interesting thing about this video, and this is why it's so unconventional, is that I'm not saying you have to aspire to any timepiece on the table. All I'm saying is break away from the groupthink online and in print media and find out what works for you. And you might find you spend a total, I'm saying a total of $500 on value timepieces like this one, that one, this one. Most of these watches are value timepieces, and you are happy as a clam. And you've arrived. Swiss watches are not the zenith. It's a house of cards. It's built on marketing. It is collapsing. People are figuring that out, by the way. Insane markups. Rant complete. Thanks for listening. Next, you need to find out if you're about first or second cool when you strap on your watch. Do you know what I'm talking about, TMP here? So are you about functionality, or are you about something that you just look at and go, man, that's cool? Which is it? And let me show a non-table example for this. So, did I show you this one? I don't remember. So this is a Casio G. Well, that's probably not the best example because it combines both elements. Oh, here's a great example. So this is a hybrid watch. This is a smartwatch. And this is a Casio GBA 800 for AJF. I paid $120 for it. Not given to me by anybody, and it ties into your iPhone or your smartwatch, your Android as well. To me, this is mostly a first cool watch, right? So it can adjust to different time zones, it can track your steps, has some smartwatch technology in it. But when I look at this on my wrist, do I go, oh my gosh, that is so radical? That is it just making me smile like maybe a really cool analog timepiece is? For me, I would call this a medium happiness watch, so the answer would be no. Okay, you need to determine what you're strapping on your wrist. If you're about functionality, then really a lot of what I'm going to tell you is not applicable, because you're going to be satiated by tech, by technology. And by the way, I don't blame you a bit. And I'm going to get into my next talking point about how you can enjoy both worlds. You should know where this is going because I've talked about it a lot in my WRVs. Okay, if I strap this on and I call this a high happiness watch, I would. I love Deep Blue Master 1000. It is still my favorite die watch, and it's affordable, totally affordable. I mean, this is mostly, for me, a second cool watch. Can I run a timer on it? Yeah, I have a timing bezel. Does it tell me the temperature? No. Can I take phone calls on it? No. Do I care? No, I don't. This is a second cool watch. I want to look at my wrist. It's more simple. It is mechanical. It has a movement in it, auto movement like I've shown you. We're going to talk about movements here in a minute. It's a second cool watch for me. And that's what you need to determine for yourself. Because if you're just about functionality, then I don't know if you'll really get into watches that much, because you're going to find a smartwatch that works for you and you're just going to run with it, and I don't fault you at all, and you're going to be happy. Okay, first or second cool. This is a second cool watch for me. So here's a Wegener, reviewed previously, hands modded now. Look at how cool that is, that beautiful blue face. And let's see what number that is. 1041.10. It's long gone. Has a standard strap on it that it came with. And it is just a really cool watch. I love it. And you can see it has wear because I've worn it. Sapphire coated crystal. Not an expensive watch. I mean, Wegeners have gone up in price. They're technically called a Swiss watch, but they have Chinese parts in them, or offshore parts. So it's not really 100% Swiss, but I don't care. This is a case in point. It's value watch, works great, second cool watch. That's a talking point. Figure out if you're about first or second cool, dude. You really do. And it's okay to be about either. It really is. But next talking point, here comes number 5, is that you can actually do both. Did you hear me? So you can actually have a total blend of second cool on your wrist and first cool on your wrist. How do we do that? This gets back to my talking point on what makes you tick. Remember that? I said that. So are you really concerned what people think of you? Because if you are, then this won't work for you, because you are too self-conscious. You're just really worried about what people think of you. You know what I do, right? I don't freaking care. And I advocate and have totally promoted the 2-watch concept for so long. Here's my Apple Watch, dudes. So this is a first cool watch. Remember all the things I was saying about that deep blue that didn't have? I got everything on this. I can take phone calls, I can message, I can control my music with my iPhone. I do timers, alarms, reminders. You know smartwatches, they do everything. So this is a Series 3, I think. I've had this for like 3 years and it's still going strong. The battery lasts for like 2 days, and then I charge it. And I'm just running a single piece multicam Zulu strap on it. I know it's not sitting against my wrist, so it's not taking my pulse, but I don't freaking care. I don't use that anyhow. I just use the functions I've been talking about. But this is about first cool, this Apple Watch, technology. And with this on my right wrist, and that's generally where I wear it, then I can put whatever I want on my left wrist. A second cool timepiece. That is the Nutnfancy, technically 2-watch concept. I don't really think of this as a watch, and you're seeing why. See how it goes blank? Any smartwatch that goes blank like that ain't a watch. It is a what? That's right, wrist computer. Well done, TMPers. Wrist computer. That's what I always call it. Guys say, hey, you're wearing 2 watches. I'm like, not really. Well, it tells time. I was like, well, so does my iPhone. But this is a wrist computer. A Dick Tracy wrist computer. This is a watch. By the way, this one makes me happy today. It is a Swiss Legend Ocean Air Chrono, modded by myself. Of course it is. In rose gold. I don't think that's real gold. It's like plated. But man, is it good looking. I put a 24 millimeter high personality strap on it. I've been looking at it all day today. And I'll tell you what, it just makes me happy. I got a chrono timer running just because I like seeing the sweep of the chrono seconds hand. And you see the sub dial right here is the actual seconds hand. Oh, and by the way, it's got a timing bezel on it too. How cool is that? I love this watch, and it just makes me happy. Use and do the 2, I'm just going to call it the 2-watch concept, because it allows you to do this. Now, you could just go, hey, I'm just a second cool guy. I don't need a smartwatch. I'll just put an analog timepiece on one wrist, and I'm totally cool with that. I will say this, though. A lot of people put all kinds of things on their wrist that don't have any function at all. Paracords, bracelets, Leatherman treads. I say you might as well strap something on there that has some functionality to it and just go for it. But it gets back to my talking point as well, right? Do you care what people think? Well, I don't want people to make fun of me that I have 2 watches. I say I don't give a shit. And it just gets back to what I was saying. I mean, if you're that kind of person, then I don't know what to say. I was like, do the 2-watch concept, dude, and tell me about it. And by the way, I just ran into Emerson At TMP, we did an in-home, no-notice gear check. He had 2 watches. He had a Fitbit on one side. It is kind of 2 smartwatches. He had a Fitbit and an Apple Watch. Again, it's a first cool thing, but it works for him. For him, that's what he has, and he loves it. Moving on. Here we go. Now, remember what I said, that when you get into your watch journey, you're going to have to do what? That's right. Spend money and develop a collection. There's no 2 ways around it. You're going to make some mistakes. Again, you may buy some pieces you thought you'd really love, and then you end up hating them. For you. Now, if you become a programmer like I am, you can change the hands on them, then it will make you happy. For instance, this Orient right here, really cool watch, by the way. I hated the hands as it came to me. Hated it. Hated it. I was like, dude, the hands suck. And I haven't reviewed this, I don't think. Maybe I have. I got a bunch of WRVs I have not posted. But I painted the hands matte white, standard formulation. I know, I do this a lot. You can never go wrong, almost, by painting your seconds hand orange, my aesthetic. And it transformed it for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is so rad. Carbon fiber face, once again. Look at how deep that is. This is a Drop exclusive. I might put the link to this below. So I got it from Drop, and it was a really good price. And after I did that and I programmed it, it just took it next level for me. Look at this bezel. Dang, that's a great crisp bezel. Oh my gosh. So getting to the point, you're going to find out what works for you. And so the first thing you want to do in your watch journey is don't commit to a certain type yet until you establish a collection. What you're seeing on the table is, again, my preference, more or less, and look at the various types that are represented. So we have field watches. So this is a field watch here, this beautiful Hamilton collectible. I think it was limited in each style to just 1,000 pieces worldwide. Yes, it is a Swiss watch, and no, I don't hate it because it's a Swiss watch. My big beef is with the luxury Swiss watches that are astronomically priced. I think for what you're getting, this is reasonably priced. Yeah, but this is a very cool timepiece. But it's a kind of a field watch aesthetic. It's got the military time. It's got applied markings on it. It's got it's a large watch. This is a big watch, and I like it that way. We'll talk more about that. But it's a different aesthetic. It's kind of a military World War II aesthetic. And I have others on the table just like it. The Torgoin could be considered a field watch aesthetic. This Aviate could be considered a field watch aesthetic. Maybe an aviation watch too, because those 2 genres blend together a lot. I love the markings on this, also applied. This is a $100 watch right here, guys. $100 watch. And look at how cool that face is. And this is a 4053, I think. Right. Gotta look. Look at that case back. How cool that is, man. It's got a spit on the back. Yeah, 4053 in blue. So signed because I hands modded it. Frosted stainless steel case. Quartz movement. We will talk about movements, trust me. Is that your aesthetic? So field, or I'll go Flieger. So here's a Bell & Ross loaner. This is like a remake of a World War II style watch. So this is the Type B dials, has a 510 increments. It's not wound or running. Sapphire crystal, really nice strap, really nice brazed on lugs. Thin strap, by the way, just like they had in World War II. This is a Flieger or kind of World War II aesthetic. Does this attract you? Is this something you'd like to wear? I think more and more guys are really warming up to that. I myself love Flieger watches. I absolutely do. I did call this a medium happiness watch. If I was wearing it, I'll stick with that. Let me see if I have any other field watches on the table. How about a classic watch? So this is an Aristo that I've reviewed already. I haven't posted the WRV, at least when I'm filming this. I love this watch. I really do. So this is made in Germany. I don't think it's super inexpensive. It is, my battery might be dead in this actually. I'm going to have to replace the battery. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't even want to tell you because I forget the price, but it's not real inexpensive. But I love its aesthetic. So it's got that ivory dial, the stick hands, really clean Arabic markings. It's got a mesh band. It's really cool, classic, kind of Bauhaus styling like I was talking about with that Nomos or the, I don't know how you say it, glass chute or something. I love that style. I do. But notice it has a different personality of the other watches. clean. These are also clean, but they're kind of a military aesthetic. That TW Steel I showed you, that's kind of a field watch right here, right? And I have like a bazillion more to show you. Here's a Flieger watch. This is an AV8 Jump Jet 4063 with my hands mod on it. Look at how cool that is. Wolf gray hands, beautiful strap. Do you like this one? If you don't, you're insane. If you don't, you're literally insane. This is a Momentum Field Walker Quartz. Sapphire crystal. Do I have a sapphire in this one? I don't really remember. Frosted stainless steel case. So this is kind of a Flieger field combination. They also make it in an automatic. I've shown you that one too. I put on this a leather NATO strap. Do you like that? The way you're going to know, again, is to buy it and wear it. And generally what I find with these styles right here, so Flieger field, when guys wear it, they end up loving it. I don't know of anybody that's tried that aesthetic, that design language, and go, it just doesn't work for me. Again, it really depends if you're going to go 2-watch concept, if you're looking for more functionality, because these have very limited functionality. They have a date that is pretty much illegible, at least in this one. This one too. This one has a sliding scale for the day. Tiny date at the bottom. It's mostly about the time. Okay, just be honest. It's mostly about the time. Let me show you this one. This is a very affordable Invicta. That's right, I do have Invictas. Watch snobs hate Invictas. I think some of them are absolutely cool. I put a really nice 24mm strap on this one. It has a white urban camo face. I have reviewed this series. I'll post that review. I did the hands in orange, blue on the second hand. Yeah, this is an I-Force, and the number's right here, 20540. Look at the case back. Beautiful watch. So still kind of a field watch, but with a really modern twist to it. That's an aesthetic. How about the dive watch? Is that your aesthetic? Here's a modded deep blue that I did. This has a Seiko NH35 movement in it. Ceramic, inlaid bezel on it. Sapphire crystal comes automatically with it, so you don't have to upgrade, pay extra for it. You don't have to put a crystal protector on it. And then, I have a leather straps coat on it. Really cool. Kettle case. I've shown you some other deep blue Master 1000s. That other one I just showed you. Is the dive watch aesthetic right for you? The thing is, with a dive watch, mostly they're going to stick out from your wrist more. They're going to be a little bit heavier. They'll be a little bit bulkier. I got to tell you what, I love them. Here comes a Gen 2 Deep Blue Master 1000. Look at the two-tone bezel on this sucker. Oh my goodness. I'll have links below for the Master 1000s. I just freaking love them. For the amount of money you're spending, it's insane. Great lume on them too. It's like Super Luminova. Form silicone straps, which really stabilize the watch. And then they have exhibition case backs in Gen 2s. Look at that, dude. So is that your aesthetic? And so this is a synthetic strap. We'll talk separately about that. Another one I have on the table, classic. So here's IWC. I think this is a Portuguese chronograph. One of them I have on loan. Really nice watch. Really expensive. Would I wear this? Absolutely. Happiness level? High. Totally high for me. I would love it. I would love this. A loaner watch, of course. How about this? Outdoors watches. So here's a ProTrek PRW. I think this PRW 6100 reviewed. Love this watch. This is an interesting piece right here. And you might get this and think it's all about first cool functionality. Because it's ABC. Altitude, barometer, compass, day, date. Really a lot of functionality in it. I have reviewed it already. But it's more than that. It looks really cool. I mean, this is actually a JDM, Japanese domestic market watch. It's really not intended for the United States. Did I get the number right? Yeah, PRG 6100, 375. There's your data right there. But I think they look really cool. Really cool. So it really serves both elements to me personally. It can be a first cool watch, second cool watch, as does this PRG 650. I think I got that right. PRG 600 YB on this in blue. So this is a ProTrek line. These are more expensive Casios. I have it set to altitude right here. Great watches and a ton of functionality. Great legibility. Timers, alarms, and ABC functionality. Is this what you like? The only thing I would say right here, dudes, is if you go with a watch like this, with so much functionality, I might be tempted, I can't even believe I'm saying this, to leave the smartwatch at the house that day. Because it does have timers. It does have a lot of the stuff that I would use on my smartwatch. It can't message. And by the way, there are different Casios, I think, that will hook to your phone. This is one of them right here, an EQB800. Yeah, you have to decide. But is this right for you? This, to test it, is going to cost more money. So you're going to go out and spend, I don't know, this one's less expensive. I think this is like $200 to $250. This one you saw the price, about $375. Is it worth it? I would say yeah. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. You might be very, I don't know, pleasantly surprised. Here's a classic field watch aesthetic. This is an Alpina start timer with urban camo on it. I have reviewed this. I think it's not posted yet. Oh my gosh, do I love this watch. Oh, I just love it. Yes, it is a Swiss watch. I mean, genuinely Swiss, but it's a very affordable Swiss watch. I mean, well under 400, a lot less than that if you look around. So sapphire crystal, AR coated, awesome markings. Comes in some very cool colorations, urban camo, tan camo. They have a chronograph version, non-chronograph version. Here's another start timer right here, hands mounted by myself. Beautiful blue strap. Is this your aesthetic? Oh, and by the way, notice these aren't stretched kite hands. They're not stick hands. They're the elliptical, very slender, classic watch hands, which I do like as long as they provide legibility. And in this watch, they already do. I didn't mess with these at all. White against charcoal, gray and black. Yep, I can see those. And then I didn't mess with these. I did these in matte black against ivory. Perfect. Yes, I lost lume doing it because I did spray paint these. I don't care. Because what's it about, TMPers? Watch TMPers? That's right. It's about happiness, Nutnfancy. That's right. Whatever makes you happy, go for it. Life is too short to not go down that route. So that's another field watch example. How about a G-Shock example? I showed you this GA100, GA110 series. Is this your jam? You know, and here's one that I modded out. It has a J&K's. You can go on Etsy. J&K's has a little sub-store, and they have these bezel covers you can put on. They have really cool straps. This is a J&K's strap on it. Look how cool that looks. I have some paint on this one because I've used this while painting. See that? The flex? But I think I put a crystal cover on there. I think I did. So I could take that off. So this is a first cool, second cool watch, isn't it? It is. I do wear this with a smartwatch all the time. Yeah, this might be your jam. Now, I talked about dive watches. I want to circle back and tell you about this. And we're going to jump into, we talked about Flieger Field, Bauhaus, kind of this one right here. Again, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Don't care. Oh, yeah, the hybrid watch. So this is one that ties to your smartphone, and it does some cool functions. I got paint on this one because I've worn it during projects. Metal strap. Bigger, very cool bezel, great looking, awesome legibility. And by the way, in this Edifice line of smartwatches, they have all kinds of variations. They have like EQB 900. The subdials have very distinct functions. I do find them very cryptic to use and not intuitive at all. And you also have to run a separate application on your iPhone to sync them up to a different time zone and have them do what they should do. It's just a lot more work than this. This one just works. So I mean, I'll wear these two watches together, but this one dominates it in terms of functionality for me personally. But that's a smartwatch. And then before we go to the next point, I want to show you this one too. And I did mention it, but I want to talk about it more because it just, again, flies in the face of the watch snobs. Fashion watches. So this is a watch I found at is a place called Watch Station. They do discount watches. I was just walking through there and I was like, man, that's a cool watch. So who is this? This is Mark Jacobs. They call it Mark. And it's just, it's long discontinued. So it's Jimmy Blue. I paid $45 for this. There's your sizing, 43, 10, 50. Water resistance, 50 meters. There's your catalog number. Look at how cool that is. Happiness level, for me, high. I'm just going to say it makes me so happy to wear this watch. And I told you at the outset, I don't, and you probably surmise this, I don't go out and like fish for compliments from people. It's like, oh, let me see what watch I can get the most compliments on. This watch, every time I wear it, everyone, especially girls, like, oh my gosh, I love that watch. And I'm like, yeah, it's funky, man. Pink lettering, blue face, count me in, dude. I'm all over it. Here's another fashion watch I showed you already. I told you that the happiness level on this was high. It totally is. I just love this watch. I do. Now, are fashion watches like the end game for me? No, it's just an experimentation for me that has worked out. And there's another one, if I can find it, I want to show you. I just like it. So experiment. Find out what works for you. It might be something like this. Here's a dive chronograph by Tissot. Orange silicone strap. This is a C-Star. Really cool watch. Oh my gosh, look at the back. So this is a Swiss watch, but it's value. Value. I tell my viewers, you guys who watch my watch show, that I focus $300 or less in the watch show, and I do. Occasionally I'll bounce out of it. Like here's an expensive piece. This Alpina is, I forget. I think it kind of bounced out of that a little bit, but very close. I say to guys, $300 below, you can get so many awesome watches. And that's where I concentrate my show pretty much. Look at the hands. They're stark, broad stick hands. Nice, crisp ceramic bezel. Crisp pushers. Really a nice watch. I love Tissot as a brand. I really do. So, experiment. Oh, I didn't mention this as we sit here and visit with each other. ProTrack, digital only. Here's the pink PRG 3000 or PRW 3000. This pink was a limited edition color. It's long gone. So it really has a second cool at this point. This is another watch that I'll wear sometimes and people just freak out like, oh my gosh, I love that pink watch. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I'll tell you what I don't do is I don't wear this and wear my smartwatch. I don't. Because it's digital and digital. It just kind of clashes to me. Even though I don't have the functionality in this. But this is ABC, altitude, barometer, compass. It also syncs up with the atomic clock. It's solar powered. These are really good timepieces. One of the first series I reviewed. So it synced up on the 6th. That tells you it synced up with Fort Collins. Really great watch. But to me, it's more of a first cool timepiece. And that could be represented by a number of pieces also like the Cento Core. Is this your jam? Right here. You know, just a digital timepiece. A lot of guys are like that. A lot of military folks are like that. That's all they'll strap on their wrists. It's like, it's just a digital. And they'll never get into an analog timepiece. Oh, and by the way, guess who used to be like that? I did. I was totally like that. If you look in the first years of TMP, all you'll see is like nerd watches. That's what I wore. But I woke up, I saw the light, and a lot of you guys helped me to do so. One last dive watch before we go on. Oh, actually, I can segue with this. We're talking about different types. I also want you to experiment with different sizes of watches. So this is an Aragon. Let me get the name right. Dive Master. I only paid $110 for it. There's the data. It has been hands modded by myself. It's an auto timepiece. It's really cool. I really love this Aragon. Even though it suffers from the small face syndrome, so it has a big fat case, big fat bezel, smaller face, but it doesn't have a chapter ring. Chapter ring is like a little slanted inside piece. Let me see if I have one that has a chapter ring. That Invicta iForce totally did. This one does. So that's one thing I don't like about this. See that slanted area right here? So it kind of minimizes the case space. I talk about that in my WRVs. But my point is experiment with different watch sizes when you're investigating. And you might find you like a bigger watch. Yes, this does depend on your wrist size. So if you have really thin wrists, this would not, for instance, work for you. This, I think, is like, well, it's right there, 50 millimeters in diameter, 17 millimeters thick, 55 lug to lug. So it's a big timepiece. For my 7.5 inches of wrist, it works. By the way, I applied a Gundam decal in there for more sickness. So it does work. It's a good timepiece for me. You might find that smaller timepieces only work for you. Here's a 43 millimeter, again, AV8. It's very thin, very trim. There's really no way, again, to find out if it's going to work until you put it on. Maybe you put on this big old fat G-Shock Homage. I love these, by the way. The Smale watches are ones like it. The Tiger King Tiger watch like this. And you'll find that it works for you. I send these for giveaway all the time to TMP Patreon members. And I hear compliments on them all the time. Guys who are not even watch guys, they put this on, they find it weighs only like 1.8 ounces. They're like, wow, I thought that'd be heavy. I'm like, no, they're not heavy. And it's a good primer for the real thing if you ever want to jump in and get a real Mudmaster. Here's a GWG 1000. It was tactical black, and that's been outfitted with a JDM yellow-orange strap. This is an expensive watch. Really expensive, but it has all the functionality, all the top features of the Casio brand. But do you want to go out and spend the money on this before you know that this size works for you? Hell no. Go get one of these, wear it for like 6 months, and then you'll know. It's like, no, I don't like it. I was banging into things. And that might be the case, but you might like it, even though it's a big fat watch. You don't know until you try it. So don't get shoehorned and just thinking, I got to try this size. I just like thin, trim watches. Maybe not. Explore them, explore them, explore them. So we talked about exploring types, exploring sizes, and then I also want you to explore movements of watches. Let's look at this Rec. So it's weathered. This is a discontinued version of the Spinnaker Rec. It's a micro brand. I really love this watch. Notice the scratched up face, the perfect hands. I did not mod this, didn't need it. This is a trim 43 millimeter dive watch with a very trim case on it. Look at this. Signed rotor in the back. So cool. And it's an automatic movement. Now, the watch snobs in the world will say if you have anything other than an automatic movement, you're a doofus. In other words, they hate Quartz. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but more and more I just hear guys like, oh my gosh, don't have a Quartz watch. And they use the S word. They'll say it doesn't have a soul. Listen, I love auto movements. I have a lot of watches that have auto movements. I like how low maintenance they are. I don't have to replace the batteries in them. Albeit, I got to sync them up when it comes out of the collection. I got to wind it up like you're seeing me now. I got to hack it. Not a big deal. Just a little something. I love them. But I don't go, oh my gosh, a Quartz movement is total garbage. And let me show you a Quartz watch to make the point. Well, this one right here, this Alpina. So do you look at this watch and do you say, oh, that has no personality? There's no way I'd wear this watch. It's got a Ronda Quartz movement in it, chronograph Quartz movement. I say the personality is not necessarily in the movement. I think it's in the casework, the execution of the hands, and as usual, the hands are lining up as I'm talking about it. The markings, how clear they are, the subdials, look at how clean and crisp they are. The execution of the date, the crispness of the pushers, the crown, the beautiful strap. I love the straps on Alpinas. They are fantastic. The clasp, the case back. There's your soul. It's not in the movement. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying auto movements are bad, but I think way, way too much emphasis is put on a watch's movement. Granted, some guys have a fascination with the artistry of putting that movement together. I get it. I do have that appreciation, but I'm not going to make it limit me from getting a timepiece that I really like. Here's a tritium combat watch. So there's a carbon reinforced case. We've reviewed this before. Cool watch, not an auto watch. It's a Quartz watch. I think this one also has a Ronda Quartz movement in it. Way too much emphasis placed on the movement. Just explore. And yes, we crave, and I'll show you some pictures. You take the case back off on a Quartz movement, and there's nothing to it. I mean, it's a small movement. It's just a little tiny battery. Most is just empty space in a Quartz watch. Does that really bother me? Not really. As long as it keeps time well and it has good battery life, I'm happy. Now, in terms of practicality, like I mentioned, you might find having a manual watch, not manual, but an automatic watch is less maintenance. It is nice. Here's a Zen on loan. Super cool watch, automatic, has some wear on it. Is it like my all-time favorite? I love the Zen, by the way. It's freaking cool. It's cool. Great hands, great face. Super cool watch, and the owner put this strap on it, so that's not a factory strap. So I'm not an expert on Zen watches. I'm not, but I do like their aesthetic. They are very, very cool. It's a big watch, automatic watch. Okay, and another movement would be a solar powered watch. So here we saw, and when I put on the table when we first cranked it off, the BM8475. So this is actually a solar panel here. And so you do want to charge that. I would say probably every third month. Let it out in the sun. Really give it a good charge. You can do it under a lamp as well. And you might find you really like the low maintenance of a solar watch. I find about 8 years is what you're going to get out of the batteries. And then you're going to have to take out that special solar, not solar battery, but it's compatible with that watch. It's specific. And you'll have to order it off eBay or Amazon or something. Put a new one in. I love my solar watches, but they do take some maintenance. This is a solar one as well. You can see the solar panel on the top of the line Mudmaster GWG 1000. This Timex coming into the show. Value watch. This is a Gallatin, also a solar watch. And here's a very awesome field watch aesthetic, by the way, with a fake bezel, which makes me sad. TD and I reviewed this watch. Watch for that WRV to break. Love the Gallatin. Great straps on it too, really. Super affordable watch. Timex has totally upped their game. I mean, they have so many cool watches now. The case backs have improved. This is a plastic case watch, and it's not like super awesome. I think this is not even a mineral crystal. I think it's just acrylic, so you're going to have to put a case protector on it. Solar powered, though. Both of these are solar powered. Movements of watches. The deep blues, again, have the Seiko movements in it. I have Seagull movements, Miyota movements, and Seiko movements. I have a lot of experience with all those value movements, and generally what I find is they're all very durable and they all keep very good time. They do, and I don't see a lot of difference, especially, and even the Chinese movements are outstanding, like the Seagull movements, they're outstanding, dude. So when I hear all this ranting and raving about how great the Swift movements are, and they go on about this and all the special features it has, I'm like, okay, why would I spend 10 grand on a watch when it's no better than this deep blue? Okay, and if you're into second cool and you're into the whole luxury watch thing, I say rock on, bro. I say go for it. I'm not going to dissuade you from that. Explore the movements. You may find out that Quartz work just fine for you. Oh, by the way, all these Smales, these homage watches that I'm showing you are, of course, Quartz. And they do have 2 batteries. I have a video out there showing how to replace them. Go check that out. I want to see if that battery there needs to be replaced. It seems like it's okay. Now, along with exploring different movements, I want you to do something else. And this is really, really important, what I'm going to teach you guys. Okay, you listening? Yeah, nothing fancy. This video's going by fast. I know it is. So fun. A watch has a personality. That personality is based on its size, on the face execution, on its handset, on the case execution on the back. I've shown you some backs that are really cool, on its colorations. But probably one of the key ways that you can change a watch for you guys, especially when you're going down Watch Road, are through straps. Again, we're going to AV8 because they do such great strap work, as do some others. It's not just AV8, and there's the data on the back of this one. This is the stock strap, by the way. I did not and would not replace this one. It is absolute perfection. The color, the quality, the stitching, the comfort levels, the breathability, top notch, dude. Amit does another good strap as well. But explore it on other watches where, for whatever reason, you're just not connecting to that watch. Here's the Amit brand. I think this is a Rotterdam. Yeah, it is a Rotterdam. And it has one of the very few metal straps that I actually like. Or bracelets, I should say. I'm not a big fan of metal bracelet watch bands. I'm just not. They're too heavy, usually uncomfortable. But for whatever reason, I love how they do it on this one. It's comfortable. It's black, matches the case. It has the Amit logo on it right there. This is a really cool watch, by the way. It's like $90. Quartz, not automatic. Decent case back. Nice quality levels. It's just really cool. Another great micro brand. But let's say I have this metal strap and I find myself not wearing the watch. Which, by the way, I could say that about a number of Seiko and Citizen watches that I've owned and maybe sold or given away since. But I did experiment with the straps and I found out, oh, what do you know? If I change the strap out, I suddenly love the watch and I start wearing it. Let me give you, this is an example. So I showed you this is a Straps Co. Chestnut brown or tan strap, and this is a NATO strap. By the way, Deep Blue does a great job with their straps, absolutely. But sometimes I don't want a silicone strap. I don't want something heavy and thick like this one right here. I want to change the personality of the watch. So these are the same watch, different face executions. I put a decal on this one, did a hands mod. By the way, that's luminescent orange on that one. Right here, dudes. Look at that. No, I'm not turning the lights out because we got a crank. Changes the whole personality of the watch. Look at this one on the Torgoin. That is a factory strap that came with the watches. I think Torgoins, they're Quartz watches. I think they have a couple autos as well. but they're pricey for what they are. But you do get a lot. You get really cool faces, great hands. Granted, they have gotten the rut of the Bell and Ross Arabic numerals. See that font right there? That's Bell and Ross. Not on this one. That's an ancient Bell and Ross, but the modern Bell and Ross. I get tired of seeing that face. But other than that, everything's really good on these Turgoynes. Look at the case back. I did mod this one, and look at that strap, that Italian leather strap. Oh, it's aged. The coloration is just perfect. You'll find that leather will get wet. It'll stay wet. It's not a first cool strap. It's comfortable in, moderate climates where you're not getting wet all the time. If you're washing a car or something, you definitely want to take the watch off. This is a cloth strap on this very inexpensive, modded out Naviforce. Camouflage face on it, and I even wrote TMP in it. Battery's dead, so I got to replace the battery. But look at this strap on that. Dude, it's like a $17 watch, and it's leather-lined Cordura, not canvas, nylon. The strap, along with the face on this watch, this is a high happiness watch. So if I wear this watch, assuming it's running, high happiness, bro. I'm just telling you, it's high happiness. I love it. And I think you'll find that too. What I'm advocating here with this talking point in watch philosophy, 10 unconventional rules to watch happiness, is you need to invest in straps. You need to have a wide selection. Just like I showed you with this BM8475, I put this one on, transform the watch. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a win. And I do have a certain knack for putting the correct strap on a watch. This is another case in point. So this Casio GA and a Dig watch, 100. I put the bezel cover on it, which is halfway there, and as soon as I put this strap on, I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. Now, do these two camo patterns match each other? No, but that's part of the charm. That's part of the personality. It just makes it pretty damn funky, if you ask me. By the way, look at the legibility of that. Now I've got hands that are white because I did program those. Then I've got a positive display. This is one of my all-time favorite Casios, albeit sans paint flecks on there. I love this watch. But a lot of that was due to the strap. The strap. Single Zulu strap. By the way, Zulu means it's a single piece of nylon that goes from side to side. The NATO strap will actually, like this one, wind underneath the lugs and then attach on the other side so it retains the watch in case one of the spring bars break. And then the lug spacing is determined between these portion right here. So I believe these are 22 millimeter lug spacing, which is very common. And you can measure that. This is a 24 millimeter lug spacing. And then whatever your watch collection is, you can change the straps or bands out on. Speaking of which, this EQB 800, this smartwatch right here, hybrid, dude, these metal bracelets add so much weight to it. And I wear this one just so I can remember why I don't like bracelets. I do. Here's a data on this one, by the way. And I've been tempted multiple times to take this bracelet off, as I often do with watches that I've received that have them. But I haven't. I'm just like, no, I'm going to wear this. I'm just going to suck it up. You can see all the scratches on it. Another downside to metal bracelets, they're going to show so much wear and tear. It's war wounds, whatever. Say in comment which straps that you found you like. I'm a big fan of the nylon. Here's a Zulu strap on the Alpina start timer. Goes behind, breathes so well, it kind of lifts the watch off your wrist so the sweat can evaporate a little bit. This one's really tight on the lug, so I don't know if I can show you the case back. Oh, there we go. We got it. So that's what the case back on this Alpina looks like. Really cool. If it'll focus. I don't know if it will. You get the picture. Tactical black. My favorite straps are going to be, you're looking at it, the nylon or the leather. And Spinnaker's another brand whose straps I just don't take off. They're just perfect. They're just like AV8. Thick leather, well finished, durable, breathable, really nice clasps on them. I just love Spinnaker. It's one of my all-time favorite micro brands. So invest in straps. Moving on. Here we go. And you may have gotten this one already in this philosophy video because I've hammered on it pretty good, but with good reason. Don't judge a watch on its price. Okay, and I'll go back to this Naviforce, and maybe I'll use a different one. So I have some other inexpensive watches here, some of which are battery depleted. I'll go to this one. This is a Aromatic, I think. And I forget which model it is. Aromatic 1912 is a brand. So technically a German watch, but it's made overseas, so it's not really made in Germany. But it's a value watch. Don't judge it because it's inexpensive. Okay, a lot of watch snobs will do that. They go, well, what's the price on that? And you'll go, $150, which to them is super inexpensive. And they'll go, oh, no, I'm not interested. Again, add it to your collection, wear it. If it makes you happy, then it's a win. Don't give a crap what anyone else thinks. So here comes a Seiko 5 Sports, the old Seiko 5 Sports. This is hands modded by myself. Value watch. It's really kind of a desk diver. It doesn't have that much water resistance. Has like a compass rose bezel on it that is bi-directional. Value watch. So when I bought this, I forgot what I paid for it, but it wasn't that expensive. And with a hands mod, it's like over the top awesome now. Don't judge a watch by its price. I showed you this one, right? I showed you how much it cost. But does it deliver happiness to you personally? If it does, then it's money well spent. And once again, $300 or less, you can go out and buy so many great timepieces that will make you happy. And maybe later you decide you want to go into an expensive watch. Here's a SKMEI watch. The bat's dead on it. But I hands modded this with nose arts just as a practice watch. I put bombs in there. I put a really good looking brunette there. Look how cool that is, dude. You know what I paid for this watch? I mean, without all the work I put in it, because that adds, I don't know, a lot of value to it. It's like $20. Oh, by the way, if I wear this, by the way, I deleted the seconds hand too. If I wear this, what's the happiness level? High. It's high. It doesn't matter about the price, bro. That's my point. Don't judge a watch by its price. This one I showed you, right? Starter watch for the real thing. Wear it. You might just stick with it forever. You go, you know what? I like the SKMEI G-Shock homage watches, especially with a tiger stripe band on them, which, by the way, I don't think you can get anymore. Wear it. You learn by wearing, by doing. Here's another one. This is an Aviate 4068 with a hands mod. Look at how cool this is, dudes. Really nice strap. Again, we see Aviate just getting it done. Getting it done. You've never seen this one, by the way. Check this. Never shown that one before. That is from the 1990s. I bought this. It's a solar powered G-Shock. And the model number is GW300. With a beautiful blue strap, solar powered. And it syncs automatically to Fort Collins. I was thinking about reviewing it. Anyway, I don't know why I'm throwing that in here now. But whatevs. And then we have the Star Wars watch. Casio GD350. $76. 2.8 ounces. Awesome. I would not wear this with my smartwatch, and that's just me, because it's digital to digital. I'm sorry, I want an analog timepiece, but by itself, absolutely. Inexpensive, though. Don't judge a watch by its price. Some of them will be mid-price, and I think this one is. This is a GA 1100 SC, 3 ounces, 49, 16, 57 millimeters. I'm talking about the dimensions, width, thickness, lug to lug. And the cost is mid-range for me, $177. Look at the band. By showing this watch, you guys are going to go out looking for this, and I don't blame you. So this is kind of like their Gravity Master watch. There's a variation on it. Negative display. Super cool watch. Dude. I mean, we skimmed past those ads earlier on those really expensive smart G-Shocks. This does not connect to your phone, but I'll tell you what, dude. Makes me completely happy. Absolutely. Got to wrap it up, dudes. Told you this would be epic. Epic. Right? We've talked about a lot of things, right? For instance, you need to know what makes you tick. What are your own aesthetic preferences? What kind of gear do you have right now? High value or really expensive gear? You're probably going to like the same types of watches. I asked you to disconnect yourself from the conventional watch groupthink out there. The watch snobs, don't listen to them. Don't pay them any mind. They are very mocking with a lot of the watches that might be on the table, except maybe this Tag Octavia on loan, by the way. Forgot to show you that one. Really cool. Dude asked me to hands mod it for him, so I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, do it. Did it. Really cool watch. Love it, though. I don't know if I'd spend the money on it, but he lets me wear it. I love wearing it. It's a cool watch. We talked about how Swiss watches, even though I was just talking about one, are not really the zenith. And I'm talking about the luxury Swiss watches that are are outlandishly priced. There are some value Swiss watches that I absolutely love. You've looked at several of them already. Alpina here, Hamilton in the background. I think that is really a value watch for what it is. We talked about, are you really concerned with first cool functionality or second cool coolness when you strap a timepiece on your wrist? I said, hey man, wear 2 watches. It frees you up to have more versatility and a second cool presentation on your opposite wrist. And by the way, you're wearing something that actually serves a purpose, not just, I don't know, something that's just there for the looks. Then I went very quickly, as fast as I could, through movements, types, straps, and sizes. You need to explore all that for yourself and find out what works for you. That's really important. This, by the way, is a 42 millimeter watch, this Alpina start timer. Looks bigger, doesn't it? It's not. It's got a very thin bezel, no chapter ring, i.e. no inside slanted ring in the case, so it looks bigger. This watch works on every wrist size, says me. It actually even work for your wife. So explore all those things, and there's really no way to know until you actually do it. For instance, invest in a wide variety of straps so you can exchange them and change the personality on your watches as you go. And then finally, don't judge on price. Don't do it. Don't do it, because price is sometimes not a good indicator on what is going to actually make you happy. You might find that a very inexpensive watch like this, Naviforce here, what's this one, like a Smale, are just going to make you so happy. And there you go. You can start small and stay small. Again, this battery's dead. I got to swap it out. Here we go. Thanks so much for watching this watch philosophy video. It was a tremendous amount of work to do, both in pre-production, production, me getting through a very difficult philosophy piece, because I have to meld in and combine a lot of different elements. You can see the mound of watches on the table, and some I couldn't even have time to show you. Keep watching the watch show and we'll continue to learn together. I'm not going to say I've arrived by any means in watches. I may have different preferences in the years to come. Maybe I do get into luxury watches later on. I don't foresee that happening because I remain a value guy. There are so many awesome watches that you can buy that are so inexpensive, relatively speaking, that will last the test of time, that will deliver high levels of happiness. And honestly, now with what's going on in the world, yes, I am filming this during the coronavirus pandemic. You need that. You need that outlet. You need to be able to strap something on your wrist that makes you smile. It is a small pleasure. Honestly, guys, it is a small price paid to give you that diversion and that entertainment in life. Nutnfancy.